Welcome back to Transformation Thursdays. My name is Lene. So, as I always say, again, I post these videos for me, but if it helps anybody else, please store the information as you will. So now, along this journey of healing, I am now to the point of moving on. And the way that I have been going on this process is by calling back my power and my strength on my own personal journey, getting to know myself, allowing accountability of reality. Sometimes I find that my expectations are extremely high, and it's like, why not? It's my life. Why not expect of the highest quality? But the reality of it, the reality of life, the reality of the situation, the reality of people, peers, associates, the reality of my own expectations on what I'm capable of doing on a day-to-day basis. You know, being able to move on from what I can control versus what I can't. You know, reality of what's doable, what I'm capable of. I'm so hard on myself for not getting typically everything done in a day. I'm learning to be nicer to myself. I'm learning to take the day as it comes and allow myself to just be free. You know, move on from my past. That's another thing. My past goes deep. Past connections. One of the ways I'm learning how to do that, accept those things, accept reality, and move on from them, is by being myself. And along this healing journey, it's like, who are you? What were you made for? So there's a lot of learning about me, my likes, habits, bad habits, what I'm willing to let go of as far as moving on. So now that I'm accepting and learning to move on, that leads into being yourself. And again, it is come to a point, it's like, who am I? So at this point, it's, what do I value within being myself? What do I value? For me, that means morals. For me, that means acting out of kindness at all times. Even when there are times that I need to defend myself, it does not need to be malice. It doesn't need to be harsh. I don't have to have one up, when correcting people, places. When correcting people, I don't have to throw shade. So, with being yourself, I have accepted that I am a chronic people pleaser. I have accepted that has stemmed from childhood. And needing to overplease, to be validated, to be seen, and not to be seen. Let me do extra more so I don't need to be seen. Let me over please so I can be left alone in a sense. That matters none. But now I'm in the process, continuously moving on, but being myself. And again, that's morals. It's also, being kind, loving, and being smart, respectful, um, and sensitive, but also assertive. And I started to believe what people thought of me, how I should be, how they viewed me. It wasn't until story time. It wasn't until I opened up and decided to have female friends, quite a few of them, where every one of them had to get a different version of me. I like to consider myself an introvert, and I grew up with a lot of females, a lot of female siblings. How many did I have? I think 5. And then there were also cousins that were mostly females. There was a lot of females in my family. There were some males, but we were dominated by females. So, they had a lot of opinions, as women do. The women in my family were head of household. They controlled everything. And, what they said went. And not only did they control everything, they did everything where the men didn't have to do shit. So much so that it almost they lost their masculinity and needed to find it elsewhere, which led to a lot of shit. Not my story to tell, unless it fits the description of what it is I'm trying to heal from. Or story time. But so with that being said, I was around a lot of females that very, very headstrong. So there was a lot of chiefs in this village. Okay. However that saying goes. So I wasn't really like that. And learning who I am, I've just always been a calmer, softer type of person. I can definitely be very headstrong and combative like my female relatives. But I prefer not to be. And so, with that being said, what's the word? Subconsciously, I did not realize that that's why I strayed away from a lot of female friends. I had siblings, a lot of them. And, I gravitated more toward males. And not in a sense that I needed to be validated by them, but I'm like the best of both worlds. I'm very, balanced in that sense where I can be girly or, I can be boyish. But I liked hanging around the boys or males because it wasn't cattiness, combativeness, drama, he say, she say, gossip. Now some males can and some males do. I've learned that the hard way. But most of it was a protection thing. I have a lot less males in my family, and the few that I do have I valued, and they're very important to me, protectors. But it wasn't enough of them. So, neither here nor there, I can spot a catty female from a mile away, and I chose not to deal with that. I decided to open up and be around a group of females, and each one got a different version of me. And a lot of people definitely view that as being fake, or as they put it, playing the victim and the villain. And so I had to give all these different versions of myself, because I handle people according to how they behave, how they interact, how you treat me, and if you betray me. I'm cool on the surface because I'm just very understanding, and I think that it stems from not preferring drama. Like, I'm not confrontational. Um, can I defend myself? Absolutely, but before I do that, I'll throw shade. I'll feel as though I'm being attacked. But that takes a long time to happen because, as I mentioned, I'm not, but I'm a people pleaser first. So in those scenarios, I'm people pleasing, um, hiding who I truly am. Something I was able to confirm is it's like a chameleon. So everybody does get a different version of me, but it's like, oh, you fit the bill almost. Wrong phrase, but it's like you fit the scenario. So like, how can that be real if you're just not who you are all the time? And a part of it is growing up, because there's a time and a place for it all. There's a time and a place to handle you as a person accordingly. There's a time and a place for me to be completely combative and defensive with you at that time, or I can do it all day long and get nowhere as far as an effective solution and communication to move forward as adults. And so during this healing process, I'm learning that I am transitioning into an adult. What I think adults should have been as a kid. What I thought they were. And when I, began to grow up, I realized that, and come out of my teenage years, I realized that people are not who they say they are. Adults are not who they say they are. A lot of these adults are just grown-ass kids that did not go through the healing process. Which is why all these other children, generations down, and it cycles, they don't heal, they don't learn, they don't grow. Back to the story time. As I'm trying to open up with a group of different females, which should have stayed as co-workers, but I was ready to open up and have friends. It was after COVID, and I had been in the house for a while. I had not had friends before that anyway, and I was good with that. Like, I loved COVID as an introvert because I did not have to really interact with anybody, and it was expected, and I could stay in the house because I'm also a homebody. So, but at this point, it was just like, I need to step out of my comfort zone a little. I wasn't ready to step out of my comfort zone, but my main idea was to network. I had a couple different ideas in mind where I needed to be around females um, in order to get where I needed to be with these ideas. But instead, I got lost. In being myself. I got lost in the drama, the traumas, the fun, the distractions, the gossip. So I, learned to confide in these girls, peers, associates, co-workers, and I called them my friends. But each one of them got a different version of me. One of them got, serious. Some of them didn't get past the surface. One of them I was really close with. I could see her I could see myself in her. Everyone got a different version of me. Well, they didn't like that. They looked at it as I mentioned, playing the victim and the villain. And that left me very stuck. Because it's like, I'm not like that. Why would they say that? And because I was a people pleaser, I played a chameleon role. I fit every role that was needed so I could please. So I could validate myself and them, because I get a lot of enjoyment out of validating other people. And I learned that because I wasn't validated where I should have been. But the correct word is not validating. The correct word is just positive reinforcement. Children need that. I often wondered, why is it that your childhood is so important when most of your life is of an adult? Why does that childhood last so much longer with an adult? And it's because those years are the most crucial years where you learn life, structure, routine, stability, security. And when you don't have those things, they stick to your soul. They stuck to my soul. But I want better. So for a while, I began, just hating everybody, all those females, and though in a sense it was very victimized, it was still all worth it because I got to learn and stand in my power and defend myself. And when I was able to stand in my power, when I was able to stand up for myself, I let it go. I moved on. I realized I am who I am, and I'm the best of both worlds. But on this healing journey, I'm learning that even though I'm learning to embrace my softer, sensitive, loving kindness side, I'm learning to pull my assertion I'm learning to be strong. And not to hate. And not to feel, though I can defend myself, I don't have to emotionally do it negatively. And so I thank them all for teaching me how to be me, how to feel my feelings, and understand where the defense came into play. With this transitioning journey, healing isn't linear. It's not just one way. You know, obviously, there's ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. There's a time where you'll get to peace. That's what life's about. It's about healing. Because, hear me out. Because healing isn't linear, it's complicated. Like, it's up and down, it's up and down, it's up and down. Sometimes you flatline. And you're up and down, you're up and down, you get saved. You get a second chance. And so if, in fact, things were meant to be clean and straight, if the healing journey was meant to just keep you there and straight, without continuously learning, growing, stumbling, jumping up, falling down, without those things, you'd flatline and fall. So life is the journey. Healing is purpose. You need to have purpose. I think healing is that journey, is equivalent to such. I think that's how we make the world a better place. Always room to learn. There's always going to be enough room for mistakes. Like those are going to happen. And equivalent to life is to learn from them, which is why we go up and down. We learn, we grow, we fall, we become stagnant, we get back up. I think that's the beauty of being a human. It's not eat, pray, kill, like how it is in the circle of life, in the animal dynamic. And that's why humans have a consciousness. The reason I mention this is because I cut all of them off anyway, and I got lost, and I didn't know who I was. But then I began to rebuild myself again and stand in my power again, realizing I meant what I said. A lot of people get an idea that I'm just so nice and that I need their protection and that I need their defendants almost like a lawyer. And I actually love that because I'm growing to learn that it's hard for me to admit and say that I want, I didn't have enough of positive reinforcement from my mother. I think this was like a very pivotal moment in my life where I really needed to reflect within. So another couple things that this group of friends I thought I had, they said, I'm not, like I said, they assumed I was nice. And I come off overly nice and bubbly and when I'm nervous, and I'm very, like I said, I'm an introvert. I like to keep to myself. I open up to those who I really trust and feel comfortable with, and I can be myself with. And though I'm not nice all the time, I'm a chronic people pleaser. That is the difference. And though I'm not nice all the time, I'm a good person. And I treat others with respect. And so some of the things they mentioned was that I overreacted a lot. And like I would have outbursts a lot. And it was very important for me to get to know me, because at that point I started to internalize and reflect and think, well, am I playing victim? Am I overreacting? Am I crazy? Do I just bug out? What's wrong with me? Why am I doing those things then? But I really felt strongly on how I reacted in each situation, because I felt strongly on how I was treated. But one thing I learned about that entire encounter is that I could have communicated a lot more effectively. I could have gotten my point across a lot more effectively without throwing shade, because I did, without dumping all of their flaws I picked up on, as they did to me, because I don't need to reciprocate in that way. I can defend myself with honor, not with malice. And I would confuse defending myself with malice. And fast forward to me finally learning that. I learned that because for some reason my phone, my iCloud, like it backed up or something like that. I'm not great with technology, let's start there. Whatever the case may be, all my old messages from that time frame repopulated. And now I'm in a different headspace. Now I haven't moved on from it because it's still in the back of my mind, but when I got to reread everything, I was like, the message I was trying to get across was valid, but it was watered down by my reactions. It was watered down by my emotional reactions. So it came off as irrational. So fast forward into me reconnecting with my female relatives in that group of circle where there should already be trust, where there should already be like open communication. And I realize that there will be opinions. I realize that there will be a lot of plays on dominance. But I thought that after going through what I went through with the girls, after I was able to kind of dissect each scenario and where I went wrong. I did my best to apologize, whether or not they were accepting of it, My message was still, as I said it, I did not want to reconnect with the girls again, but I wanted to say my piece, and I do apologize for overreacting. My message was still, as I said it, but I didn't react that way. It was received the best that it could be, and I was okay with that. So at that point, I thought I moved on. I was starting to become and learn to find myself and be okay with who I am and how I reacted, and understand that there are still effective ways of communicating moving forward. There's still hope. Fast forward to, which is going to be another story time, where again I reconnected with my female relatives and males. And because I did not provide them with all of my information on how I gained my confidence that I was coming into, I thought that, I learned my lesson, but I learned again, I will move forward with this next scenario where I guess I didn't quite learn my lesson as much as I thought. And so that's for another story time. So I would like to sign off with a quote, as I always do. Or like I said in my very first video posted, synchronicities, related to discussion, or signs from God. Not knowing who you are is dangerous because it leaves the door open for others to define you. They give you ideas of who you are and how you should live, and slowly you begin internalizing their words. You begin forming judgments about yourself based solely on their perceptions and insecurities. This is a terrible way to live. Deny all the voices inside you that are not yours. Never accept others' opinions about you. You are enough to define yourself. Peace, love, and happiness.